When I went in, there were still 77,000 landmines planted, just man eliminators. One of the problems we had was that they dropped these little landmines out of airplanes, and they had a little leaf that would spin down, and they would land in the trees. And so even after you cleared an area, if the wind blew, these would fall out of the trees. So, pretty sad. So a lot of tragedy. It's hard to believe that at one point in time, Baghdad actually had as many universities as Boston. So, my first translator that I had, he was literally in class when the soldiers came in, and he stood up and started translating. And that's how he got his job with the Army. And he's actually working for the Marine Corps now, stateside. They brought him. He was my translator twice. The 2 different tours I was over there, and then I helped sponsor him back. And as I should, he would not have been safe there. He helped us too much. I was the first female advisor to walk into the Iraqi Ministry of Defense. And everybody was waiting with bated breath to see how it was going to work. And first 2 weeks, I thought things were not going to go good. The general, well, I was a colonel at the time, that they assigned me, it's kind of crass, and his family, he had sent them away to a different country, so he didn't care, they were safe, and he was just gonna, pamper himself and be the colonel in the ministry as a he was the senior communications guy for all of Iraq, kind of like somebody in the Pentagon here. And he didn't have any motivation. And one day I had gone in, I would go visit him every day, hopefully between mortar attacks. And I came in there, and as I took my body armor off and set it down next to his door, one of my notebooks fell open, and the picture, my sister was watching one of my horses at the time, and she'd sent me a picture of him. And he reached over, swooped down, and picked it up. Oh, you have horses? Oh, me too. Before I got back in the Army, I was training racehorses at the track on the other side of Baghdad. I just kept track of 1 month of rockets and mortars coming in, just a 30-day slice of life. 640 rockets and mortars came into the area that I could hear either alarms or rockets coming over, because not always did they send alarms off. 179 of them came within my compound area, which is 4 acres. That's pretty close. Yeah. So 640, 179 were that close, and of those, I think I saw about half of them impact or was near enough that you could see the fire or smell or whatever jumping into the bunkers. And there were 4 of them where we were going into combat medic mode and had to help people out. They were attacking the gyms there for a while. It was pretty bad. Doing a lot of grenades and porta pots and using cell phones to mark gymnasiums to come back and try to launch against. Pretty bad stuff. So we got, that's one thing you never get over is they can train you to triage a wound, they can train you to put on a tourniquet, they can train you to blood stop a head wound, whatever, but they cannot train you the first time you start hearing someone scream and they won't stop. And they don't even realize they're screaming. They're so shocked, injured, hurt, whatever, mortified that they don't even realize they're screaming. And if you don't, and you learn this very quickly, if you don't close your eyes and open your mouth, you can't hear anything either. Because your eardrums are blown out. Yeah. So, some of those fun things like that. Learning all the clotting capabilities of the stuff that's in your medic bag. So go to the Philippines, come back. In San Antonio, they have a little weekend rodeo thing that this company puts on every Saturday. There's a little rodeo. And the DLI and the different schools there in the... San Antonio is very international. That area, they would bring a couple busloads up to this little Tejas rodeo thing and, put on a rodeo for these people who maybe have never even seen horses, And the rodeo company does a really good job. They start out with the longhorns and do the full thing. And Yancey would always love it when I come compete because he could capitalize on this is, active duty Lieutenant Colonel, Val Baker. So there I am competing in the breakaway on Rio because she needed a lot of roping. And he announces that the Filipino guy I had been advising 4 or 5 months before that stands up, Lieutenant Colonel Baker! And so, a small world, he had come to one of the schools, and so I rode my calf, and then the next thing, much to Yancey's dismay, I've got him riding my horse around, and his other friends are riding the horse around, and having the time of their lives. It was so fun. It was just such a small world that there he was. After, 9 months of working with him in the Philippines, and the biggest lesson I learned was that, we get there, we get off the plane, the clock's ticking. We're trying to get as much done as we can so that when we leave, we feel like we've gotten something done. But what we don't realize is that they were there before we got there, and those days are going to keep going after we leave. And so their sense of urgency is not there that we had. You've got money, you need to do this. And they're like, okay, so if it's not good for me now, I can wait 6 months and reapply or reinvest that money. Not do it the way you want to as fast as you can. And that was interesting because you're like, you're military, you're trying to get as much accomplished as possible just because that's what we want to do. Rebuild this country so we can get out of here. And my tomorrow is going to be the same as my yesterday. The bombs are still going to go off, people are still going to kill each other. I just want to do my little part every day. So instead of feeding them the big bites like we feed them the little bits so that they would at least get a little accomplishment.